In December 2016, India made a powerful statement to the world. The South Asian nation tested Agni-5, its longest-range nuclear-capable missile to date. At a massive 50 tons, the missile's size marked India's entry into the exclusive Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Club, alongside Russia, the USA, China, France, and the UK. In the test's aftermath, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi gleefully tweeted, "Successful test firing of Agni-5 makes every Indian very proud. It will add tremendous strength to our strategic defense." The official purpose of India's nuclear arsenal is to deter foreign attack, but its wavering stance and growing instability in the region make it unclear just what India will do. India is a robust global powerhouse. It has the world's 6th largest economy and ranks 6th in American Interest's 2017 Great Power Index. And India can certainly defend its power. It has the 4th strongest military in the world, with over 1.3 million active servicemen and women and another 2 million in reserve. Estimates put its nuclear arsenal at between 100 and 120 nuclear warheads. But this is just the beginning. The Indian government has ambitious plans to develop the size and delivery capabilities of its nuclear weapons. In 2016, it applied to become part of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. This elite group of world powers controls the materials, exportation processes, equipment, and technology required to manufacture nuclear weapons. India's application received support from leaders including Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin. This is not the only sign that India's nuclear capabilities are now considered exceptional. Unusually, India is one of just 4 UN member states that is not a signatory to the Non-Proliferation and Comprehensive Test Ban treaties. These treaties aim to limit the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technologies. India's exemption has meant it can develop nuclear weapons as it chooses, without violating international law. India began developing nuclear weapons in 1964, conducting its first nuclear test a decade later. But its nuclear record is not without controversies. In 1998, India and Pakistan became overt nuclear aggressors when they conducted nuclear tests within weeks of each other. One of the outcomes was the Kargil War, which resulted in over 2,000 deaths. Another outcome is an arms race that continues to this day. Journalist Sampath Pereira notes that since September 2016, India has reportedly spent more than $3 billion on emergency arms purchases from Russia, Israel, and France. Aside from Pakistan, China is the only nuclear power thought to present India with a nuclear threat, because it has supported Pakistan's nuclear program and has publicly warned India to stop developing nuclear weapons. But Victor Gao, director of the China National Association of International Studies, says conflict between China and India is extremely unlikely, given the high level of economic cooperation between them. But will India actually use its nukes? Historically, India has employed a no-first-strike doctrine. This means it cannot use nuclear weapons unless under attack from another nuclear state. But security experts believe India's increasingly competitive global presence is hardening its nuclear policies. In 2016, former National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon wrote that India would likely strike first if another nuclear weapons state declared it would certainly use its weapons, and if India was certain that adversary's launch was imminent. Critically, this statement was not just speculation. Rather, it was a thinly veiled threat to its adversary, Pakistan. There would be little incentive, once Pakistan had taken hostilities to the nuclear level, for India to limit its response. Pakistani tactical nuclear weapon use would effectively free India to undertake a comprehensive first strike against Pakistan. The threat of nuclear fallout may be even greater because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Journalist Aditya Chakraborty believes Modi was complicit in genocide against Muslim populations while he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. In 2002, a violent Hindu mob tore through the state, raping, burning and murdering Muslim civilians. They left over 2,000 Muslims dead. As journalists Mark Oliver and Luke Harding reported, instead of trying to prevent the slaughter, Mr. Modi instructed his administration to do nothing. Given his prior attitude towards Muslim groups, it is possible that Modi may be more willing than his predecessors to strike out at Pakistan, an Islamic country. He has previously stated his desire to isolate Pakistan internationally and challenged it over shared water resources. Yet, despite debate around India's no first strike doctrine, there has been no actual policy change. The current ruling party, the BJP, even went back on the pledge to give the military more freedom to use nuclear weapons. This suggests the government is trying to uphold the status quo. The stakes of an India-Pakistani nuclear war are incredibly high. A 2007 study by America's National Center for Atmospheric Research looked at the devastating impact it would have around the world. The study forecast a thick, toxic smoke would create a poisonous atmospheric layer. Its gruesome side effects would include a decade without summer, as the noxious gas blacked out the sun, causing global crop failure and a famine that would kill at least 1 billion people. Luckily for the world, journalist Tom Hussain says Pakistan and India are at a nuclear stalemate. We can only hope that tension between Pakistan and India might be better understood as a type of mutually assured destruction. This is when 2 or more states build up nuclear arsenals in order to avoid conflict. When they reach a point where everyone would be annihilated if nukes were used, there is no longer an incentive to strike. India is an increasingly formidable nuclear state, with the power to annihilate most of the world. However, given the horrific consequences of deploying its nukes, hopefully it will maintain its no first strike policy. Nevertheless, it seems clear that India is willing to use its nuclear weapons against its enemies if it feels it must.